Okay, I wanted to do a quick video on the limit of a sum, which is part of the integration chapter for Year 13 Pure Maths and A Level. And it concerns things like this. So we've got the sum from x equals a to b of f of x times delta x. And what this is trying to portray is f of x, which is the height of a given rectangle, times delta x, which is the width of that given rectangle. And then the sigma is you're trying to sum up lots of these rectangles from the start at x equals a to x equals b. Okay, and this is going to approximate the integral. It's going to approximate the area under the curve. Now, there's going to be a little bit of error. You can see here on this this column, this rectangle, there's a little bit of error there because the curve moved. It's not a straight line at the top. But if you take the limit of this as delta x tends to 0, then that will become the integral. So it becomes x equals a to b of f of x times delta x. If you take that delta x to 0, so you're taking the number of strips to infinity, then that will become the integral from a to b of f of x dx. And for this course, you pretty much need to just change from this to this. You'll be given that in the question, and you just need to know that it is the same as that. Okay, so this is a very quick video, just looking at 3 examples of that process. So, example number 1, we've got the limit as delta x tends to 0 of this summation here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write that as the integral. So it's the integral from x is 1 to 4 of 2x to the half. Okay, so what root x is dx. Okay, that's all it is. Okay, and that's just a year 12 integral. We can carry it out. So add 1 to the power, so it's going to be x to the 3/2. Divide by new power, so that's going to be 4/3 out the front. And then we're going to evaluate that between 1 and 4. Okay, plug in the 4. That's 8 times 4/3, which is 32 thirds. And then plug in the 1, so it's minus 4/3. So the answer is 28 thirds. And that's the answer. That's it. Okay, example number 2. We've got the limit of this sum. Well, you just need to write it as the integral. So we're going from x is 2 to x is 3. This is our function, which is x times x minus 2 to the 5/2. And that is now with respect to x. Okay, so if given that in the question, you need to know that this is that integral. Okay, that's it. So to do this one, we're going to make the substitution. U equals x minus 2. So du by dx is 1, so du equals dx. But also it's a definite integral, which means I need to change my limits. So I've got x is 2 and x is 3. In u space, that's going to be 0 and 1. So when I saw x is 2 here on my integral symbol, I need to replace it with u is 1. U is 0. And when I saw x is 3, I need to replace it with u is 1. And I've done that by using this relationship here. Okay, the substitution relationship. Okay, so the integral then, or this limit of the sum, is going to be the integral from 0 to 1 of x, which is u plus 2, times u to the 5/2. And du equals dx. So we end up with that. And now that is a year 12 integral. So it's from 0 to 1 of u to the 7/2 plus 2u to the 5/2 du. Now we can apply the power rule. So that's going to be 2/9 u to the 9/2 plus 4/7 u to the 7/2 between 0 and 1, which is 2/9 plus 4/7. Okay, 2/9 plus 4/7 is 50/60 thirds. There we go. That's the answer. We don't have to convert back to x space because this is a definite integral, so it's just a number. Okay. And we can use the calculator to check that answer. If I integrate, what is it, x into x minus 2 to the power of 2.5 between 2 and 3, compare it with that, we can see that it's pretty much the same number. It's just a slight error in the way the calculator has integrated it, but most of the decimal places match up, so we can be happy that that is the correct answer. Okay, and one final example is this one. Well, again, it's the limit of a sum. So it's the integral from 1 to e of 4x squared times the natural log of 3x dx. So integration by parts. Using late, u must be log 3x, which means u primed is 1 over x, which means v primed is 4x squared, so v is 4/3 x cubed. Okay, plug that into the integration by parts formula, which is uv, so that's 4/3 x cubed times the natural log of 3x, that's evaluating 1 and e, subtract to the integral of vu primed, which is 4/3 x squared dx. And that's, again, between 1 and e. So I can evaluate that as 4/3 x cubed times the natural log of 3x, subtract 4/9 x cubed between 1 and e. So that's 4 over 3e cubed times the natural log of 3e minus 4/9 e cubed minus 4/3 times the natural log of 3, and then that's plus 4/9. Okay, so that is my answer. It looks a bit messy. You can do a bit of algebra. I do have a bit of a neater answer here, but it is still quite horrendous for an exact answer. It is 4/9 into 3e cubed times the natural log of 3 plus 2e cubed minus 3 log 3 plus 1, which is yeah, so that's the exact answer. But the process of these is just to replace the limit as delta x tends to 0 of the sum with an integral symbol. Okay, so whenever you see that, you need to just make that transition and then complete the integral.